Welcome to the Deep Dive. We've got some really fascinating source material today, focusing on a novel that tackles something I think we all wonder about, the whole what-if question.
Absolutely. We're looking at the story of Nora Seed specifically, and this, well, frankly, incredible place she ends up in this library.
A very unusual library.
Yeah.
So our mission today is to really get into the heart of this book, figure out its essence by exploring Nora's journey through all these different lives she could have lived.
Right, and we have to start where the source material starts, which is with Nora in just, well, a state of complete despair. Her original life, what the book calls her root life, it just feels like this long list of failures, missed chances. She's just swamped by regrets and disappointments about where she's ended up.
Yeah, the book gives us these really sharp, kind of painful details.
Mm.
She feels like she became nothing. Not the swimmer, not the musician, not the philosopher or the glaciologist she might have been.
It even gets down to, like, feeling she wasn't a capable cat owner. That detail about her cat, Voltaire, dying, it's presented as this really heavy symbol of how she sees her life.
And you see in those interactions, too, that awkward moment at the music shop, string theory, where her past comes up.
Yeah, with Neil and Ravi.
Yeah.
And her relationship with her brother, Joe, it's clearly strained. He's unhappy with her. Even missing a piano lesson feels like piling on another failure.
It's this crushing weight, isn't it? Like every single choice was wrong.
Exactly. And it all builds up to this point where she makes the decision and attempt to leave her life behind, which is what leads her somewhere else entirely.
And that's the Midnight Library. The descriptions in the source are amazing. This place between life and death, just endless shelves of books.
Infinite shelves. And each book, according to the story, isn't just a story, it's a life she could have lived if she'd made a different choice somewhere along the way.
A whole other reality packed into a book.
Yeah. And she's not alone there. She has a guide, Mrs. Elm, who was her old school librarian, a familiar face in this very unfamiliar place.
Mrs. Elm helps her understand it all.
She does. She introduces Nora to this concept and also to the Book of Regrets, literally a book listing everything Nora wishes she could undo.
Wow. Talk about confronting your past.
Right. And Mrs. Elm poses this question. It's a key quote the source highlights. Between life and death, there is a library, she said. And within that library, the shelves go on forever. Every book provides a chance to try another life you could have lived. Would you have done anything different if you had the chance to undo your regrets?
That's the core of it, isn't it? The chance to actually try undoing regrets.
Exactly. So that's what Nora starts doing. She uses her Book of Regrets, pulls a book off the shelf, and dives in. One of the first big ones she tackles is not opening that country pub with Dan, her ex.
Ah, yes. The I regret not living in a country pub with Dan life.
Yeah.
Sounds quite charming on the surface.
It does. The idyllic escape. But the book shows pretty quickly when she's in that life, it's complicated.
How so?
Dan's not happy. He's drinking a lot. He's unfaithful. The setting might be right, the things she thought she regretted missing, but Nora feels just as lost and disconnected there.
So fixing the external thing didn't fix the internal feeling.
Not at all. It's a really important early lesson the book delivers. Changing one circumstance doesn't magically ripple out to make everything perfect. People change, situations evolve in ways you can't predict from that one decision point.
Okay, so that life didn't work. What about her music? The source mentions a life where she stuck with her band, the Labyrinths.
Oh, yeah. And in that life, she's huge. Like stadium touring, millions of followers famous, the O2 Arena visible from her hotel room, that kind of success.
The dream for many musicians, surely.
Externally, yes. But the book contrasts that sharply with the internal reality. In that timeline, her brother Joe, he dies from addiction issues.
Oh, wow. So that success came at a terrible price in that reality.
A huge price. And Nora herself feels hollow. There's this scene where she's on stage giving this rambling, almost philosophical speech questioning what success even means.
I remember reading about that. She talks about the external bullshit idea of achievement.
Right.
And how life isn't a race. You win.
Exactly. It's like the book uses this life to say, look, you can have all the outward signs of winning, but if the internal rotten tree, as she puts it, isn't healthy, none of it matters. It won't fill that void.
Makes sense. So the search goes on. What other kinds of lives does she explore?
Well, there's a completely different one where she becomes a glaciologist, working in the Arctic, very remote, very scientific.
That sounds adventurous, intellectually stimulating at least.
It is. And it's in this life, the book introduces another character, Hugo Lefebvre. He's like Nora, a slider, someone else jumping between lives.
Ah, so she's not the only one.
Apparently not. And Hugo actually gives her a bit of a framework for it, drawing on quantum physics, the many worlds idea.
How does the book use that? Like literally multiple universes?
It's used more as an analogy, really, to explain the sheer number of possibilities branching off from every choice. Hugo suggests the library is like a way to access these countless potential realities.
Okay.
But here's the thing, even Hugo, with this incredible ability, admits he's still searching, still not quite satisfied, which sort of reinforces the idea that just hopping between external scenarios isn't the ultimate answer.
Right. It's not just about finding the right set of circumstances.
Yeah.
Which brings us to another really significant life the book details. The one with Ash.
Yes. The life that started from just saying yes to a coffee date. And this one, it looks pretty close to what you might call ideal on paper.
How so? What's it like?
She's married to Ash, who's portrayed as a really kind surgeon. They have a daughter, Molly. They live in Cambridge. She's writing a book on philosophy, her passion.
Right.
And significantly, she's not taking antidepressants in this life.
Okay, so this one seems better, happier.
It certainly seems more grounded, more connected. But what's interesting is the book shows she's still fundamentally Nora. She makes little mistakes that show she's, new there.
Ah.
But the real takeaway from this life, according to the source, isn't about perfection. It's about the meaning found in connection, in the ordinary stuff shared with someone else. Love, acceptance, dealing with the messy bits of life together, like talking to her daughter about big questions.
So it's less about the perfect setup and more about the shared experience.
Exactly. It's where she really starts to understand what the book calls the big importance of small things, finding meaning right there, not in some grand achievement.
Okay, so if we zoom out from these specific lives, the pub, the rock star, the glaciologist, the life with Ash, what are the main takeaways? What are the core lessons the source suggests Nora learns?
Well, first and foremost, regret isn't destiny, and trying to erase regrets doesn't automatically equal happiness. Those lives she wished she'd lived, they often came with their own problems or just left her feeling empty in a different way.
And the idea that external success isn't the same as internal happiness comes through loud and clear, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Fame, money, career peaks. The book makes it clear they don't guarantee fulfillment. It quotes Nora realizing her potential achievements were meaningless without love. Connection is key.
What about identity? Does she change fundamentally in these lives?
That's a crucial point. She realizes she brings herself, her core self, into every single life. That rotten tree idea comes up again. But there's a flip side, too. She starts seeing that all those potential versions of her, they were all her. She contained all that possibility all along.
So changing the outside doesn't automatically change the inside.
Unless there's a shift in perspective within you. Which leads to that advice from Mrs. Elm. You don't have to understand life, you just have to live it. Stop overthinking, maybe.
Yeah, just experience it.
Ah.
And that experience, the meaning, it's found in unexpected places, right? The small things again.
Definitely. The book highlights things like volunteering at a dog shelter, real conversations, family complexities that love with Ash. It really emphasizes love in all its forms as being pretty fundamental.
The source material also doesn't paint life as easy, even the good lives.
No, it embraces the struggle. There's that analogy of Nora in a river, fighting the current but staying equidistant from the banks. It acknowledges life as a messy struggle, but surviving it shows you what you're capable of, reveals something inside you didn't know you had.
And acceptance seems really important too. Accepting yourself, like you accept nature.
Yeah, the book makes that comparison. You don't get mad at a glacier for being a glacier, so why fight who you fundamentally are? Acceptance is powerful.
Which loops back to perspective, doesn't it? That Thoreau quote the book uses. It's not what you look at that matters, it's what you see.
Precisely. It all comes down to how you frame your reality.
So as Nora keeps exploring, something starts to happen to the library itself.
Yeah, it becomes unstable. The source describes it as literally collapsing, falling apart around her. And the reason is her will to live is fading, not just in her root life, but in any life. Even the library is sustained by her desire to exist somewhere.
That's intense, so she has to make a choice.
A really crucial one. And it's not about finding one more, maybe better life out there on the shelves. Her realization, the pivotal moment, is that she wants to go back. She wants the life she ran from.
The original messy one?
The original messy one. The book captures this so well. I don't want to die, and she didn't want to live any other life than the one that was hers. The one that could be a messy struggle, but it was her messy struggle, a beautiful, messy struggle.
She chooses her struggle.
Yes, she chooses her reality, flaws and all, because it's hers.
And waking up back in her original life, it's not easy, is it?
No, the book describes it as raw, painful. The other side of despair, one chapter is called. She's in the hospital, it's messy, it's difficult, but that's the point. It is life, and now that's exactly what she wants. She chose it.
And things start to shift almost immediately, don't they, in how she sees things?
Absolutely. That conversation with her brother Joe in the hospital is a great example from the source. He reveals his own struggles and how her despair actually impacted him, contributing to his drinking.
Wow, so it wasn't just her feeling like she let him down.
It was mutual. They both felt they'd let the other down. It shows that interconnectedness, how we affect each other in ways we might not even realize. It's not about blame, just shared humanity.
And her perspective on the world around her changes too.
Dramatically. The source shows her looking out the window and seeing wonder in completely ordinary things. Trees, traffic, boring buildings, terrace houses, same world, totally different viewpoint.
Because she chose to be in it.
Right. And the book ends on this note of potential. Her sitting at the piano actually playing something new. Looking at a magazine about Krakatoa suggesting discovery, exploration, maybe not literal travel, but internal journeys.
So the biggest change wasn't the life itself, but her relationship to that life.
Exactly. The potential was always there, inside her original life, inside her. She just needed to change how she saw it.
So this deep dive really shows, based on the source material, that the goal isn't necessarily to find some perfect alternate reality or erase every regret.
No, the real value seems to lie in embracing the life you have, messy struggle and all, seeing the potential and the wonder in the everyday and actively choosing to live it, but with maybe a new lens, a different perspective.
Which leaves us with something to think about, perhaps? Reflecting on Nora's journey and her ultimate realization.
Yeah.
How might shifting your perspective right now unlock or reveal the potential that already exists within the life you're living?
Something to ponder. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.